What's up?
Any new takeaways from what you saw on Monday?
Well, defensively, we made a lot of mistakes. I knew that during the game. The film verified it, probably a few more than even I thought. So we spent a lot of time yesterday on the defensive end and probably spend some time today getting ready for tomorrow's game.
Defensive mistakes like that, maybe expected early in the season, is that kind of like the thing that takes maybe the longest to start sorting itself out?
Well, it's November 4th when we played the game, and if we were, making a lot of good plays, what would we do? We got 4 or 5 months here, so we're going to make mistakes early. I understand that. I just, our communication has to start to improve. That's a good. You're going to make defensive mistakes early. You just want the guys playing hard, starting to talk more, starting to communicate. You got Brandon's never played with TJ. Both of those guys never played with Nate or Jackson or KJ. But you hate seeing communication mistakes between KJ and Jackson because they played a lot together. Nate only played 5 games or 4 games, whatever he played. So, but those two played a lot together, and they shouldn't be making those mistakes. But, just a lot of new faces. Raheem coming off the bench, and Bam, Mookie hadn't played any. So just a lot of new faces.
Are there things that you have to work out in games that, for as much as you'd like to clean up in practices, it really takes playing in games to build some of that cohesion?
Yes and no. You want to make practices as realistic as possible. But the intensity of a ball game sometimes, puts things in a little more focused deal. They get tired, practice, going 2.5, 3 hours some days, and they let things slip, So hopefully during the time they get in a ball game, they're ready to play as hard as they can and be really focused for that. We don't need to wear anybody out, and they're 20 to 30 minutes, whatever they get, they need to be playing hard.
Try and take that into consideration of keeping 2 or 3 guys on the floor at all times that were here last year so that you don't have too many guys playing for the first time together?
Well, we're fortunate because, we do have the guys returning that help a little bit. And in most rotations, one of them is going to be out there, Key or Jackson with the ball, Nate or KJ inside right now as we continue to try to get Supreme ready to go. So, it's just kind of by the way our team's designed, it kind of happens.
You referred to a couple of guys the other night, veteran guys saying, hey, when they play hard, they're at an elite level. I wonder, coming off last year, numbers were so low at some points. Is it a hard mentality shift maybe for some guys to say, okay, I don't have to...
Oh, absolutely. You got to get out of your comfort zone. Any progress that's made, you're going to have to be uncomfortable, and Jackson, because Key went down in January, Jackson can't get stupid fouls, and so I let him get away with things defensively that I'd never let anybody get away with because we our depth. KJ kind of the same thing, especially early when Dante was out. He and Mo was prone to foul all the time, so we couldn't get KJ in foul too because we didn't have anybody else with size. So probably let him get away with way too much, And then when Dante got back, he covered him up. He covered a lot of mistakes up just because they wouldn't challenge him at the rim as much and his big body inside. So, we've got to make some adjustments there. We've got to get out of our comfort zone. We got to play, with their hair on fire, whatever you want to call it. But we need to turn it up.
You mentioned Mookie the other night. You guys started off the bench, especially defensively. I'm curious, what do you think his the expectations for him should be this year, and how much he can play and what he can bring?
I don't know yet. He's still working himself into shape. He was out a year. He practiced a little in late December and then played a little in January, and that was it. So, I'm not sure. We got to get him in better shape. We got to get him more acclimated to what we're trying to do offensively. but he is talented. He is a good athlete. Like I said, he gave us a big spark the other night. So we'll just see how his progression, continues to go and his growth, and hopefully, give us a big spark.
Raheem had a couple of really nice passes or opportunities to create looks for others. Was that what you kind of expected? What was your kind of your scouting report on him?
Well, I think he makes the right basketball play. I think he can be a defensive stopper. He's a tough guy. He's older. He's got experience. So I think he can help us in a lot of areas.
What do you remember about Montana? Obviously, they were here last year. I'm sure you remember their style.
Well, I watched the game from a year ago, and it was a close game till the last 5 minutes. We couldn't break away. It was tied at half. We had our hands full with them, and I think it was our second game of the year last year also. So, no, we'll have to play. Travis does a great job. He's a good coach. They're well coached, good athletes. Got a bunch of new guys. So it's kind of hard. They got their starting guards back, but they got 9 new guys. So scouting report's going to be a little less than usual, and we're going to have to kind of go into the game and kind of play from there. But no, they got both starting guards back that really did a nice job against us last year. We're going to have to do a better job on them this year.
Whitney's an all-conference player for the Big Sky 12. Just your thoughts on just how he impacts games?
Well, he's really good playmaker. He had 148 assists last year and 48 turnovers, 3-1. I mean, he got in the paint and he made plays, did a tremendous job. He shot threes 40%, even though he didn't take many. He's still at 40%, So, no, he's a good little playmaker, good defender. Much like 24 the other day when we played Riverside, they're both really good players and do a great job of making plays for their teammates.
You referred to earlier, there's kind of an arc to the season, and you expect growth over a period of months. But what do you think the ceiling is for this group defensively? Too
early to tell. We got to get Supreme in the mix. We do need his physicality. I know that. I don't know where we can go. I know we can be a lot better defensively than we were the other night, and the offense, I think, as guys play together more and we get a little better feel for what we're trying to do and play a little faster, I think, offensively we can be okay. We got enough guys that can shoot it and score. But it's going to be a matter of being unselfish and disciplined and, guys willing to accept a role, especially right now when we got everybody fairly healthy and everybody, wants to play. I understand that, but it is a team game. And there's no individual entries into the NCAA tournament or anything else for basketball. You got to play, as a team. So hopefully our guys will embrace that, and we can make some strides as a team.
Does it feel like quite a bit of that has to happen before you get to Vegas?
Oh yeah. No, we got to have a lot of growth here. Play Texas A&M, to play San Diego State. Whoever that third game is, and even to go on the road, and again, Montana's a handful, and Portland, I don't know anything about them, but Troy, I know, beat Toledo in their first game by 10, which shocked me. Toledo's got a good team, and they popped them pretty good. So we got a lot of ball games and got to go to Oregon State before them. So, but definitely, you see a team like A&M that went to the NCAA tournament last year, and I think it's got 4 starters back, and in the top 12th, 13th, I think they're ranked. So expectations for them are very high. So, and San Diego State's always good. They just defensively they do a good job. So we're gonna have our hands full. We got to grow a lot here this month, no doubt.
Good.
All righty, guys.